Hello, and welcome to The Reading Room, the podcast brought to you by your Rowan County Public Library. I'm Morgan.
And I'm Atlanta.
And it is raining outside. So we are inside with the books, which is where I hope y'all would rather be.
Technically, a dream come true.
Honestly, yeah. Is there much? I feel like there's genuinely not much better than sitting inside with a good book, maybe a cup of tea, hot chocolate, whatever your preference, looking at the rain and knowing that it's out there and you're not in it.
I wonder what that is, though, because I like the smell about rain.
Mm-hmm.
And so why it's outside, I can't smell it, but reading during the rain, you're so right. The sound is good, but knowing it's out there and I'm safe.
Yeah, it's like an ASMR thing, like the rain hitting the window. And it is a very specific feeling. I don't know if it's the coziness of it. I don't know how much of it is psychological, like a cultural thing we've built up where we have been shown images of that in media, so we think that that's supposed to be a good thing, and then we grow into it. I wish there was a word for it. Like you said, the smell of rain, which I know that one. That's petrichor.
Oh,
that is the name for the smell of rain, like the earth after it rains.
It sounds like a Greek monster.
It does.
I wonder if the word is Greek.
Probably
that
because
sounds weird.
Ichor is Greek. That's what was supposed to be in the veins of the gods instead of blood.
Ooh.
Ichor, so petrichor, I guess that means like blood of the earth or something. I think, yeah, especially because PETR, that's like petrify, so it has something to do with stone.
Cool that you say it's like blood of the earth,
yeah.
And that's what the smell of rain is.
Whoa. That makes it very cool and mystical.
No wonder we like it.
But I don't know if there is a word for that specific feeling of being inside when it's raining and doing something you enjoy and the rain making it better. I've heard that there is something when it rains, it does something to the ozone or the air, like it ionizes it or something, and that activates a chemical in your brain that makes you feel more relaxed or something. It's actually there's a real physical thing happening when it rains and it changes the air during a storm, and that's what makes you sleepy when it rains, that kind of thing.
I would believe that because it does seem almost involuntary. It's a collective thing that we're all experiencing. Mm-hmm. It's not just because I like rain.
Yeah.
It's everybody walks out and goes,
yeah. And when you're sitting inside and watching it, doing something like reading a book, we all just kind of universally agree, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
This is nice. Or you hear rain on the roof and it lulls you to sleep. This is nice. There are a lot of strange words. Well, strange to us because they're not in our language, but words that I feel like English, for all of its fumbling majesty and all of its vast vocabulary, somehow still does not contain that other languages do. What's the word? Sonder, which is the feeling of longing or nostalgia for a place you've never been to, I think.
Oh my god!
I think is the definition.
So that's a thing. It has a word, so it's an experience.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, when you look at a picture.
Hobbiton.
Yeah, exactly. Or you look at a picture of the Eiffel Tower, or you read one of your favorite stories, and it's oh man, wish I was there. Or I really miss that place. It's been a while since I read The Lord of the Rings. I really miss the Shire. That's Sonder.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I've got a word like that I'm so scared of pronouncing it wrong, and I kind of hope that Dr. Bernadette Barton is listening and she'll correct me. But I believe it's Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
It's a German word that is experiencing or having pleasure in the pain of others, just watching other people suffer and being ha ha.
Yeah.
I love... So bullies, I guess, all over are experiencing this Schadenfreude. Mm-hmm. And that it's a good word. If you saw it spelled out in front of you right now, you'd be so pleased.
Absolutely. Yeah, because it's one of those too that I feel once you know what it means, it kind of, and there's a name for this too, and I can't recall it, but it's a word that sounds like what it means. Mm. So when you look at the word Schadenfreude, it looks like and feels like that's what it is its definition.
I think that no, never mind. I was going to say it might be a homonym because a homophone is a word that looks the same and sounds different, but I think a homonym is a word that sounds the same and looks different.
No, I think it's the other way around. Homophone, because phone like phonic. So a homophone sounds the same and means something different, and a homonym means the same thing but sounds differently, I think.
I think it's like they're spelled the same but are different words, like tear and tear.
Yes. I
think those are homonyms.
Yeah, tear and tear, or
because name same, homonym. See, you break down language, you learn a lot. Homo means same and nym means name or word. So
there are a lot of interesting words like that just I feel like English needs. My favorite one is probably and my German's not great, so I'm gonna mispronounce this. German listeners, if we have any, or German speaking listeners, feel free to correct me. But I think it's Kummerspeck, which the direct translation is grief bacon.
Grief bacon.
But the meaning of it,
like BACON bacon. Okay.
Grief bacon. But the meaning is when it's for eating when you're sad, like eating your feelings.
Grief bacon.
So just I feel terrible today. I'm just gonna have a snack.
I like that. Which again, you're right. English should have words for these things if we know that it's a fact. Like if we're all experiencing this, why don't we name it?
I think it's fascinating how some languages feel that it is important enough of a feeling or an experience, or that it's universal enough that they do come up with a word for it, and others don't. Like, why is there a German word for that and not an English word for it, when we know that here in America, we absolutely do that?
Yeah.
Not only do we eat our feelings, but there's also that feeling of like eating too much because the food is good, and you know you're going to be overfull, and you know you're going to regret it later, and you don't really want the food. You're not hungry anymore, but you keep eating because, it's so good.
There.
Yeah, it's there and it's so good. And other languages have a word for that, and we don't. But why? And it probably has something to do with our cultural outlook, I guess. Because some of these words, they appear on top 10 lists of fascinating trivia that you didn't know, buzzwords, maybe even on BuzzFeed, and that's kind of how they enter the language, and people start kind of using them.
So is it almost like the word exists? It was come up with at some point, but maybe it's not used that much in German vernacular. It's just a word that they have.
Yeah, because that's a point. Like, I don't know how often German people say Kummerspeck.
Yeah.
I don't know. They may not say it very often at all. Yeah, like I would.
Because I'm always like, go home, eat some ice cream. Like, I feel like I make a point to tell somebody to eat if they're not feeling well. So I want a word for it.
Yeah. And so it's odd that I don't know how often German people say it, but it's strange that we don't have a similar word. And we have to say grief bacon.
It seems like when we grief bacon. It seems like in those situations where we don't have a word, we substitute a reference. So like we could say that we're gonna do something the way that a character did in a movie or something.
It's like that makes sense. Instead of coming up with a word, we meme about it.
Yes.
And the meme becomes what we mean. Like, there is no word that means this, but I remember watching this phenomenon happen on social media like Tumblr, where people first started saying, like, someone would say something or do something, and someone else just looks into the camera like you're on The Office, like the series. And someone, I don't remember who, someone wiser than me, wrote a post about it, saying it was fascinating to watch because that was a feeling, a phenomenon that we already understood, but we didn't have a way to talk about it or describe it.
Until The Office did it.
Yeah, until the series did it. And then it was like, because that was such a popular series and other people understood the reference, now you can say that, and so many other people know what you're talking about and relate to it, that it has become what you say.
Yeah. But truthfully, we just mean sharing an expression with whoever else. Like, basically, we hope they understand that we're frustrated.
Yeah.
And we phrased it as an Office thing.
Exactly. Like, everyone has felt the idea of watching someone else do something that you think is ridiculous or foolish or ill-advised beyond your ability to describe it, and then just kind of like connecting with an invisible audience, like, did y'all see that?
Or a real audience. You're looking around the room like, is somebody else on the same level as me?
Yeah, like, I think that's the other way to describe it is, we've read this, I'm sure, in many books, where like someone looks across the room and their eyes meet, and that look speaks volumes, and you know they feel exactly what you feel about this situation. Like, did you see that? Did he really just say that? He did not. So yeah, I think especially for our generation and people younger than us, that has kind of become the thing, is you have all of these memes saved up that are difficult to explain to anyone who wasn't there when it entered the vernacular, like I guess the consciousness. But like, how do I hold all these limes? Or I can has cheeseburger. I made you a cookie, but I eated it. Or clean all the things. All of these things, like, you know what all of those mean.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't, but so many people do, that you can say them, or you can even, in internet language, in internet terms, you can just show the image. And I think
people will hear a voice.
Yes.
And they know it's their own voice, but they hear a voice.
My favorite one, and I'm not going to explain this because I do want you to be curious and wonder, and if you don't already get this reference, I want you to have to look it up and research it. I want you to. But my favorite is probably when someone posts just like the thin rectangle of President Obama's eyes with the orange filter. And you know what that means, and you hear a voice when you see that, and it like nails down a very specific response to something someone has said or done, and a very particular emotion. And yet, what path did we take to get there? Like, first the story had to come out, and then the image was attached to it, and it used to be the full image of his face with that cynical expression, and then it became just the eyes, and now that is like an emoji on so many Discord servers. And
it's
everyone,
so regular,
yeah,
it's a reaction post.
Exactly, you see that image, and in your head you hear, then perish. Just perish. And wholly separately, if you just say perish, I think when you say that, a lot of people see that image in their head. It goes both ways. And that is so fascinating to me, but also it's so funny, but it's so interesting too to see how we get to a place like that and how that kind of stuff evolves. Language is so important. That's why reading is fundamental, because language is changing all the time. And I think the more you read, and the broader the catalog of things that you read, the easier it is for you to keep up with changing language. Because if you don't read a lot, not just online, but in general, then it really is a physical thing. Like, your brain is not trained to process that stuff. So it's kind of like a push-up. It's something you can do, probably, that, like most people can do a push-up. But if you don't do push-ups every day, you're not good at them, you don't enjoy them, they're difficult for you.
You won't do many.
Yeah, and you get less out of it. So you have to read, you have to train your brain to do those kinds of linguistic push-ups. And then when something new comes out of the woodwork, it's easier for you to tackle because you have that mental upper body strength.
upper body.
Yeah, upper body. Which is a great segue into what we really wanted to talk about, I guess. Obviously, we really want to talk about this. But it is May. It's time to do some reading. Summer reading is coming.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I am so excited. And just like with language, when it comes to summer reading, there are, wait for it, I'm waiting for the check to clear. There it goes. Oceans of possibilities. TM, reserved, copyrighted.
Had to say it. At your local library.
Indeed, yeah, because that is the theme for this summer. Because it's true. It's true. Reading creates opportunities. And those are opportunities we want everyone to have. The more you read, the more you know. and the more opportunities that creates for you. So this summer reading, all summer long, is going to be about oceans of possibilities, about the possibilities that are created when you read. So we're going with a water theme this year. We have a lot of cool programs and events lined up that are along those themes. We're gonna have some displays for that. It's a lot. It's a lot, but
it always comes together so quickly too. Like, I didn't know. Obviously, summer's coming, right? Mm-hmm. But I didn't know summer reading was coming so soon. And I swear, it's like Sandy and Jess started decorating on Monday. And mm-hmm. here we are at whatever day of the week it is now. And there's stuff everywhere. Like, there are oceans all over the library. There's a kraken hanging up in one of the walls. Like, it's just, mm-hmm. it's amazing how much has been done already. And that's before we've started, like, decorating for the events. I can't wait.
It really is wild to see it come together like this. You're right, because I've seen summer reading before. And I've participated in summer reading before, but this is the first time I've been on the back end of it, so to speak. And it is wild how rapidly it sneaks up onto you and how quickly people start rolling stuff out. Right. And I'm just thankful that it's a national program, so a lot of this was already kind of thought out and then shared with people. So there's like a manual that comes with it and says, this is what we're doing. Here are some ideas that other librarians have come up with. Here's our theme. Here's all of the art that we're using, the fonts that we're using. It's like, oh, thank you. Thank you. Now we'll look like the other libraries, and everyone will know when they see a summer reading poster that it's the same everywhere, that's good. Sometimes you don't want that. You want to stand out. But we want you to know that summer reading is happening everywhere, and we want you to participate everywhere. So we know that we have a lot of patrons who come from other counties outside of Rowan County. So Fleming County is doing summer reading, Lewis County, Morgan County, Carter, Bath, Greenup, everybody, Menifee, they're all doing summer reading. So if you are doing summer reading at your public library and then you come here, that summer reading program overall is going to be the same in terms of like theme. We're going to be doing different programs and events. We might have different books out for you, but the idea behind them is the same. So that way you have some idea of what you're getting, but it is still more than worth it to participate at multiple libraries, because like we're not going to recommend the same books to you under the umbrella of oceans of possibilities that like Caitlin over at Bath County is going to recommend to you.
And they might have a lot more, not more, but different rewards and opportunities. Like you said, they would have different events, but mm-hmm. also like we give you rewards for reading so many books during summer reading, mm-hmm. and you can make that same list for the other library, you know? Like mm-hmm. they want you to read 20 for a t-shirt. Well, you read 20 for us, so you just turn in that same list and you get a t-shirt over there.
Absolutely.
Like, it seems like just an interesting concept. I've picked up on it recently, just in the past few years, turning in my summer reading to many libraries. Yeah. Because like you are already doing the summer reading. Mm-hmm. It's not like you're doing it for us, Rowan. You're doing it for you. So go ahead and turn in your summer reading in as many places as you can. Collect your rewards.
Absolutely, because that's kind of part and parcel with the idea behind summer reading that I love to push the most, which is hopefully you are already reading throughout the summer anyway.
Yeah.
Or if you have children, you are reading to them or with them. And so the idea behind summer reading is kind of like, you're going to do this anyway. We just want to give you stuff for it. Like, tell us you're doing it. Write down that you did it and let us know. And then we will give you free books or a t-shirt or, you know, some other prize. Like we've got gift cards and things like that. So we are encouraging you basically to just do what you're doing anyway. So you're going to read. You're already reading if you're a reader. So just write it down and tell us you did it. And then you're not doing extra work, but you are getting extra rewards for the work you were going to do anyway.
This is one of the times where we get to spoil you. So we're just asking that you let us.
Yeah, because it being a national program, again, means that it's a huge, huge deal. And libraries want to let you know as much as possible that we want you to do this. That's why we all participate. And there are some libraries that do different things. Like Rosemary said over at Elliott County, for example, that they are doing like a summer reading camp activity where they partner with the school.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's like a summer study camp. And I think that that's really neat. So that way if you go to different libraries, you're going to get different experiences. So here we break it down by age category, right? If you've never done summer reading before, then we break it down into like, babies of 0 to 35 months, and then children 3 to 5, 6 to 8, 9 to 12, teens, 13 to 17, of course, and adults, everyone 18 and up. And then we have some goals for you to read a certain number of age-appropriate books, like Atlanta said. And if you do that, you write it down on a log sheet that we give you, and then we will enter you to win free books at the end. And then we have like kind of stretch goals. It's almost like a Kickstarter campaign where if you meet the minimum goals and you keep reading, we will enter you to win a grand prize, which this year, I believe, is a $25 gift card to Coffee Tree Books and the Fuzzy Duck.
Oh.
So, you know that you better be in for that grand prize because, oh gosh, I could go for an iced chai right now.
Well, we can't win. We work here.
I know. Like, I have to go downtown and buy my iced chai and my...
So you might as well try to win for us.
Yeah. It's like hashtag not sponsored, but like I do want a panini though. So you have to eat that panini for me. You have to win summer reading. But we've got some other prizes too. It's not just going to be that. We've got all kinds of cool programs lined up. There's going to be a tie-dye.
Oh my gosh.
On June the 9th, we are providing the kits, and you bring your own items, so like a pillowcase, sheets, socks, a t-shirt, whatever.
That's so fun.
And then you come, and we will help you tie-dye it. We are going to have a special effects makeup workshop for teens. Yeah. Ashley Collins from Lexington Children's Theater is going to be here on June the 2nd.
Ashley Collins? Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. That is exciting.
She's coming down on June 2nd, and she's going to teach teens 13 to 17 how to make like bruises and cuts and like fake injuries and stuff with special effects makeup. That's going to be so cool.
Like for pirates, I guess? Like for the oceans of possibilities?
That's what I'm thinking is that I think
neat.
It's pirate themed.
That's pretty
like
neat.
You've been in a battle.
Yeah.
We've got
like
a bunch of
Blackbeard's all dirty and stuff.
Yes,
like
exactly.
I like that.
And we've got a bunch of awesome crafts. Like there's going to be a tiny ocean in a jar. There's going to be an under the sea clay sculpture. There's going to be bottled sand art. And a chalk art contest where you get to draw out here under the portico or along the library sidewalks. And the winner is going to get a $20 gift card.
People always love that.
Mm-hmm. We are having a virtual photo contest for adults where we want you to post like your best nature photo that includes water somehow. So it could be a fishing photo, could be a photo of the river of Cave Run Lake, of Little Sandy, the Big Sandy. We are going to have an heirloom show and tell. Yeah, Cindy's really getting into it.
Wow.
Cindy's really getting into it. We're going to have a history program where we want you to bring a family heirloom and tell your best stories about that item.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so like this is this is Granddad's passport, or this is Dad's diary from the war, or all that kind of stuff. And we want to hear like why it's important and why you have this and consider it a family heirloom. So cool. Of course, creative coloring is going to be ocean themed. On board is going to be ocean themed as well. Of course, we're doing board games on June 28th and July 26th, so it's going to be the normal schedule. But we're doing like a beach party theme.
Oh.
I've got a couple of new water themed board games. And for the June on board, we want everyone to come and wear a Hawaiian shirt. And we're going to vote on the best Hawaiian shirt. And the winner is going to get a $20 gift card to Kaiju Games, which is our wonderful local board game and card game shop down on Main Street, Moorhead.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that place.
And for the July on board, we want everyone to wear your best summer flip-flops. Wear your funniest or cutest or wildest or neatest summer flip-flops. And if you come to the board game program in flip-flops, then you will be entered for a chance to win another $20 gift card, which we will do the drawing for that night. We have a history of Cave Run Lake. Cindy's going to be presenting on that, like where it came from, the origins of the lake, and
that is so neat.
Some of the stories associated with it, because like, you know, when you have a lake that size and it's that important to so many people locally, like, y'all know there's a lake monster, right? Like there's a lake monster in Eagle Lake up on the hill behind MSU.
There is.
Yeah, you never heard those stories?
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, there's an Eagle Lake monster.
Ooh.
I've heard a bunch of different stories, and okay, this is tangential. I'm going to get on my soapbox for just a second. Why are we not promoting our local cryptids? Okay, like, that's the whole point of a cryptid, is like they're already kind of seen, like sight unseen anyway.
Yeah.
Right? They're never in the foreground. But, so it's the least we can do. I went...
put up a sign.
I went to West Virginia, where they celebrate Mothman.
Oh, man.
And they have the statue.
They have a whole festival.
They have a whole festival.
Oh my god.
Yep, they have a whole festival. There is a cafe on the corner that sells Mothman cookies, and they are so good. They are worth going for. There's a Mothman Museum, of course. You can go to the bridge where it happened, and they have a big statue, and I got a button that has a picture of the statue's behind on it. And it says, I came to touch America's buns of steel, like the shiny hiney. I touched the shiny hiney. Because that's the thing, is you're supposed to go up behind the statue and everyone takes selfies or pictures of you touching the statue's butt, because the statue has like a very statuesque bottom.
I get it. I guess it would be shiny if that's where people touch it all the time.
There you go. Well, and it's like a stainless steel statue or something, so it's very like Mothman is shredded, is what I'm saying.
I've seen pictures from the front, and I can only imagine.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, they love Mothman so much. Where is our love, Rowan County, for our local cryptids? Because I mean, you've got Penelope, right? Like the ghost of Nun Hall. You have the Eagle Lake monster. You have we've
got Lucille Cottle Little in the Lucille Cottle Little Theater on Moorhead's campus. And she is always around. She's not mean, but she's always around.
Right. There's the ghost of Clack Mountain.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that one.
Yep, there's the ghost of Clack Mountain.
Plus Bigfoot, I mean.
Right, well, because Bigfoot shows up everywhere, I think. Big feet are migratory. Bigfoots?
Bigfoots are... Maybe Bigfoot.
Sasquatches. I don't...
There you go. That'll go.
If there's only one of them, he gets around.
Tolkien would say Bigfoots.
You're right.
No, he wouldn't. I don't know what Tolkien himself would say, because he says they originally said proud foots, and then it's corrected to proud feet, and I don't know if I agree.
Well,
because if your last name is Proudfoot, you know?
Yeah, because like if your last name is Smiths, you say we're the Smiths, not the Smith. So
is his name Bigfoot, or is that also a colloquialism? You know, if Sasquatch
See, I told you this would be a tangent. I think Sasquatch is the special name.
Okay.
And so Bigfoot is the name of, like, theoretically a Sasquatch. So, like, Bigfoot is not the species. Bigfoot's like a guy, and Bigfoot is a Sasquatch.
All right,
I think. You know, kind of like King Kong is a giant ape.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
I'm on board.
Yeah, so, but anyway, so yeah, let us know in the comments, or send us in, tell us about your favorite Rowan County cryptid. We want to know, because I would love to celebrate that. And also, I know this is way in advance, but it's never too early to celebrate Halloween. So be thinking about that, because we're going to do grave sites again in October, and we want to hear your local ghost and monster stories, so like be polishing those up.
Is that home for wayward baby dolls in Rowan County? Have you seen that place?
Oh, the Dollhouse?
The Dollhouse.
The Dollhouse, TM, like capital D, capital H, Dollhouse.
I thought it was called Home for Wayward Baby Dolls. It might be both, though, because people do call it, like, the Dollhouse.
I've always just heard it called the Dollhouse. I'm not sure if it's in Rowan County or if it's over the county line.
I know the lady that owns it does come in here to the library, but I didn't know if she was...
Oh, we might be thinking of two different things, because the one I was thinking of was, like, Sinister.
It's Sinister. I mean, it's scary to like drive by it, especially at night. Like they own like mannequins that don't have all their pieces, and then there are baby dolls that are hanging from like fishing line, and it's so cool. But I feel like that would almost be called a cryptid, you know? Like, it's not a living being, but is it?
That's one of those. It's like Stonehenge. You know, there's a mystique, and it's like a place of power. Yes. Like ley lines cross here.
Happening here.
Yes, this is a convergence of mystical energies.
Yes,
like the library itself. It's a liminal space.
Right. So we are having all of those events. Are there any events that we don't get to have during summer reading? I know that maybe Megan said something about anime club.
Yes, no, that's a good point, actually. So this month, May, will be our last anime club for teens and our last writers workshop until August. So we are having it in May. We are having it again in August. But she is going on hiatus just for June and July in order to make room for other programs because they need the space.
Yeah.
So we're doing so much for summer reading that she volunteered to go on hiatus because, I mean, we've got like a tiny art show coming up.
That sounds like a lot.
We have in the community room is going to be like they're upcycling plastic bags and stuff into bracelets and jewelry. A bunch of things like that. I told you about all the other DIYs. Oh, and we're also, the Newport Aquarium is partnering with us to do a shark party.
Oh my goodness.
And that's going to be a hybrid event because we know that some of you have said, after we discovered during the pandemic that doing virtual stuff is not for everybody, but it is helpful to offer it to the people who need it. And we want to continue doing that. So on July the 21st, we are going to be doing a hybrid event where they are going to be hosting a live presentation about sharks and stuff. And we are going to provide links where you can log in and you can watch it remotely from home if you can't make it in person.
I really like that.
Yep. Very cool. Very cool.
I bet they're doing that. I mean, it's the Newport Aquarium, and I bet they're doing that for a lot of libraries around here. I bet they've got different events planned. I hope they show us their best hand.
I do too. And I trust them to do that because the Newport Aquarium has never let me down. I had a friend who got married there recently.
Wow.
And I would never have thought of that. Like, it just wasn't an idea that occurred to me is get married in the aquarium.
Yeah.
But they have this room, this chamber, where the whole wall is taken up by one of their big tanks. And so they got married standing in front of that, and there were like sharks and sea turtles like swimming back and forth behind them and above them and over us the whole time during the ceremony.
That is so beautiful.
Yeah, it was such a great idea. It was a good experience.
I mean, I hate the ocean, but like that is beautiful.
Well, the ocean is full of monsters.
I would be terrified.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's fine.
I don't know why the aquarium isn't full of monsters. I need at least one. I need proof, you know.
It's cherry picked.
Where's the Kraken?
Yeah, it's cherry picked. That's what it is. Because even the octopus was kind of like, he was like out for the night, you know, when we went.
It better be.
His lights were off. On the other hand, afterwards they did have a meet and greet with a penguin.
Oh,
and that was cute. They brought a little penguin out.
That wouldn't be too scary.
Yeah, penguin was very friendly. Yeah. So don't miss summer reading, is what we're saying. Registration opens on May the 23rd, and registration week is going to be the 23rd through the 28th. That's when we're going to get started. Yeah. That's where we're going to get started. And you can register. We want to stress this. You can register in person. We will have forms for that. You can do it over the phone, and we're glad to help you. And there will be a form online. Now, as the time of this recording, and when you listen to this, probably, that form is not up yet because it will be open for business on May 23rd. So that's when you can start registering. Don't call or show up before that, and we won't be able to register you until the 23rd. But on the 23rd, you can do it in person, by phone, or online. And so for all of this stuff, for more information on everything, go to rowancountylibrary.org/summer-reading. And that way you can read all of this at your leisure, find out more about specific programs. We've got all of the dates. We have more information about what you have to do to be eligible for prizes and rewards. And we also have things like, the date of when summer reading is going to end, when we are going to hand out the prizes, and so on and so forth. To keep you busy in the meantime, this is also, May is such a busy month.
It's a big one.
It is, because you rolled out like the Mother's Day blog post with your reading recommendations for that.
Yes. And that is going so well somehow. The display. Okay, so the blog post, if you don't know, always has a matching display in the library. And there's always 15 books on the blog. And sometimes I get about 10 of them up on the display, depending on whether or not we own them. But this time around, that blog display has been flying off the shelves. So I don't have enough books to fill it because I only recommended 15. I don't want to lie and pull others and be like, this is also recommended by the blog lady, because like the blog lady only recommended these 15. But they're flying off the shelves. We've only got like, I think 4 of them up right now, or at least as of earlier today. So I love that. We started off with 14.
That's awesome.
And the display itself is doing well. So check out the blog, but also check out the physical display at the front of your local library.
Yeah, that is awesome. And if you're not keeping up with the blog, you should. Go to rowancountylibrary.org, and right there on the main menu on the front page, there is a big button that says blog. Click there and it'll take you, because Atlanta has always got something good for you to read.
I try to be as humble as possible about it, but I do put a lot of work into choices that I pick out. And I mean, like, probably too much thought goes into this, because like you would think 15 books wouldn't be hard to come up with, but it does take me almost the month to come up with your next month's post. So
yeah, well, it's hard to narrow it down because there's so many good ones.
Yes, and it's like you want to recommend the right ones for your audience, you know? Like, of course I can come up with 15 books for me to read about mothers, but I want to represent everybody. And that was specifically hard with my Mother's Day post, because everybody's got a different life story. Everybody's got a different childhood and a different motherhood. And like, I was adopted. So for a while, I personally didn't have a mother. And then I had this whole new mother. And then my birth mother passed away, and motherhood or Mother's Day became a much more difficult thing. And I think that there are a lot of different stories out there, and there are different people that are reading, and everybody experiences Mother's Day. So I tried to come up with recommendations that weren't just for the kid that has the perfect mom. And some of them aren't just for the perfect mom. There are some that are about moms that are not great, that are awful to their children, or there are some about moms that wish they had done better. They wish that their children were more successful in adult life. So some of them are beautiful, romantic stories about mothers, and some of them are heartbreaking, romantic stories about mothers. And I like that idea that, like, hopefully by the time I iron it all out, I am trying to represent readers of all types and readers that have all experiences.
See, that's the power behind staff picks. We've talked about this before, is that anybody can say, well, what would you read? But when you put staff picks out, it's like you are making a personal recommendation for everyone who uses the library that I think you should read this because. And that can be a lot more difficult than it sounds, because you can, and some of us do, just throw something out there like, well, I liked this, so I hope that you will also enjoy it. I'm recommending it because I had a good time. And then sometimes we very carefully curate some of these displays and collections to be like, you should read this, not just because I enjoyed it, but because I think that it's important.
Because it makes a difference.
I think it will matter to you. And so, because Mother's Day, I mean, I have friends who have lost their mothers. You know, Mother's Day is a sad day for them because it reminds them that they don't have anyone to celebrate with. There are some people who love their moms, and there's some people who are kind of estranged or it's distant. For some people, Mother's Day, it's important they're face-to-face. For others, it's a phone call. Some people, it's a bother. And for some folks, like you said, maybe it's about dealing with a mom who isn't there or isn't great, or the consequences of losing your mom, or that kind of thing. And different kinds of families, all kinds of mixed families in all different ways. So all of those reading recommendations are great because there is something in there for you, and a lot of thought was put into that. And that's true every month. So be sure to follow that blog and check it out. If you're not sure what to read next and you're looking for something, the blog is a great source for that. And so our other displays, that we try to change those every month and go for a different theme. So it being May, of course, we've got Mother's Day. We also have a gardening display. There is the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, which is just, you could talk all day about that.
Yeah.
So we have an informational display and collection up about that, like, where is Ukraine? What is its history? What led to the events that are going on there right now. And what about Russia, the other party that's involved? Who are the Russian people? Mm-hmm. Why is this happening? So if you're confused about that, if you're interested, if you're curious, if you love history, if you're interested in the military science of it, if you're interested in the humanitarian side, which I hope you will be, and you want to know about the people that are involved and the whys and the wherefores behind all of this, then we have a display about that right at the front of the library. May is also Jewish American Heritage Month. It is Mental Health Awareness Month. And it is National Get Caught Reading Month. We want to celebrate all of those. Of course, we love and appreciate our Jewish patrons. So you can check out the collections on Libby for these as well. Be sure to go to our Libby page. If you use the Libby app, of course, you're already probably signed in. If you don't use Libby, you should.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can never push Libby enough.
I love Libby too. Like, if you have used any of our digital services, I think that Libby is by far the best one. Mm-hmm. It is so easy to use, and I know people like Hoopla because everything's ready, available immediately. But Libby is so cool because we've got more control than we do anywhere else. If there's a book that we just really want, and we want it as an ebook, and we can't find it, we can just ask the library, because luckily in this case, the library does have the opportunity to order it. So check out Libby, check out those displays, because they're curated by someone that will not toot their own horn, which is Morgan. And they are so lovely. I love the way that they're made and the way that he chooses these books. It almost seems like they're in an order. Like, it's like I am following the tone of the list itself. I find it so interesting. Even if I don't pick them up to read them, I love the list.
And those can be challenging too sometimes because, especially during things like, say, Native American Heritage Month, it's surprising, I guess it shouldn't be, but it is often surprising what books I go looking for that are not on Libby, that I can't get. And that is not the fault of the Libby app. They want everything to be on there. Mm-hmm. And that is not the fault of the authors or the poets or the artists who create these works. Sometimes it's just a licensing issue. They may be with a publishing house that doesn't work with Libby, or it's kind of like a Netflix versus Hulu thing, where if it's streaming on one, probably you're not going to find it on the other one. So a lot of times, if you can find something on Hoopla and you can't find something on Libby, it's because the publisher who owns the rights to that work is currently selling or renting those rights to one company or the other for some reason. And that may sometimes change, and they will let the rights out to multiple companies, or it may be that you can find the ebook on Libby, but you can only listen to the audiobook on Hoopla, and that may be because of the person who recorded the voiceover, for example, and narrated it. And so that's why it pays to use both apps. Mm-hmm.
How lucky are we to offer both?
Yeah, to be able to offer both. And Freeding as well. Don't forget Freeding, because Freeding is the same way. They have a smaller selection overall, but the benefit with Freeding is that when you download a book, you get to keep it.
Yeah, it's like you own it.
Yeah, you own a copy of it now. And because of that, again, because of publishing concerns and publishing rights, their catalog is smaller than Hoopla or Libby, where you don't get to keep the book when you download it. But that means that they have a lot of classics, they have a lot of nonfiction, and they have a lot of great important books that you should be reading that now you can have a copy online. So check out Freeding as well. And all of those are on our digital resources page. So again, RowanCountyLibrary.org, and just head over to the digital resources button and you can find all of that stuff there. But I mentioned Jewish American Heritage Month. It is also Mental Health Awareness Month. Listen, it's rough right now.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's been rough for a long time. We are pulling up out of this pandemic that is still ongoing, no matter how much we might want to pretend otherwise. Like, things have gotten better, but it is still happening. It is still an ongoing crisis that we are still dealing with. So that's on our plate. Even if the way we're dealing with it is by pretending it's not there, that takes mental energy.
It does.
That takes emotional energy. That takes psychic energy to ignore it and pretend like everything is fine. And I mean, then just, gosh, You're worried about war in Europe, and there's stuff going on with the Supreme Court, and there's just a whole lot of things to be worried and angry and upset about.
Yeah.
Please make sure that you take care of yourself and take some time for yourself. And if we can help you do that, that's great. And that's why we provide entertainment as well as information. That's why you can come here and you can get fiction as well as nonfiction. That's why we have video games. That's why we have music. That's why we have movies. So if you want to just check out and veg out on the couch with a bowl of popcorn and a soda that's probably not healthy for us, and you want to watch like the latest silly spy thriller comedy action movie with Melissa McCarthy or whatever, like, do it for an hour and a half. Just check out and do it. Take some time and recover that energy. And we hope that we will catch you reading here at the library, because again, it is National Get Caught Reading Month. That is one of my favorite monthly observances. So it's technically, Get Caught Reading is like a year-round campaign, which I didn't know. I thought it was just the month.
Yeah.
But it's a whole thing. It's a whole year thing. Brought to you by Every Child a Reader.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you know that program.
Yeah, I do.
And it started in 1999, so it's been around for a while. The Association of American Publishers started it, I think, and now it's managed by Every Child a Reader. But it is meant to promote your favorite authors, your favorite books. Whether you are a teacher, a librarian, a bookseller, whatever, we want you to get caught reading whatever it is that you read. So be sure, if you are interested, send us your best selfie or picture or staged photo, if you get your friends to help you, get creative, however, of you getting caught reading whatever it is that you read, because whatever that is that you're reading, you can even count it towards summer reading.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, so just whatever it is that you've got, whatever book you have your nose in, you can read it for summer reading, and you can also get caught reading it. Send us those photos on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Tag us with hashtag go to, like the number 2, the library, or go to RCPL. And we will see it. And we will share those photos, and we will have some for you throughout the month as well of us getting caught reading. So we hope that you will share back.
Get caught reading reminds me of when I was in elementary school and I would take a book with me to class. And then, you finish all of your work as quickly as you can, and you pull that book out and you're reading it under the desk, always under the desk, so no one knows what you're reading. Because, I was reading Junie B. Jones in 6th grade. Other people are like, why are you reading that again? And I'm like, this is my 5th time. It's good. So I'm reading it under the table so nobody knows it's just Junie B. Jones. And then the teacher comes up. Oh, that is some of the worst get caught reading. There are a lot of times where I lost my recess because I wanted to read a book while the teacher was having class. I was done with my work.
See,
but that's getting caught reading.
Yeah, that's really getting caught with consequences. Well, the consequences here are that we will share your photo on social media. Yeah. So you be the judge of that. Decide if those are negative consequences or positive consequences for you.
It's a little better than taking your recess.
Yeah, for sure. I was
going to read at recess. What am I supposed to do now?
Yeah. Well, and also, I feel like as a child who always had a book in his hand, I feel like it's silly to punish or chastise or persecute someone for reading what you perceive to be too much. Reading is one of those things that I feel like you really can't do too much. Anything can be an excess. If you sit there with a book in your hand so much that you are not taking care of yourself and eating right. That's different.
Because you've stayed in a chair for so long, that is a different situation.
That's different, but that's also obviously an extreme example. Yeah. But reading, I just feel like it's something that's very difficult to do too much of. So by all means, if you're listening to this and someone has said to you, because I've heard this, if someone has ever said to you, "Are you reading that book again? Why? Didn't you already read that?" And you notice that a lot of those folks, it just doesn't occur to them. They'll watch their same favorite movie multiple times.
Yeah.
And that seems to make sense. But if you read a book multiple times that you like, that's kind of odd to people.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing, and it just doesn't click for a lot of folks. And when you make that comparison, usually they instantly get it. And they're like, oh no, actually, okay, I see.
Sometimes, though, I've met people that will think it's weird to rewatch a movie, too. And then it's like, how do you reach on their level if they don't like the book or the movie? Like, I feel like at least in TV shows, you want to re-experience moments, even if you don't rewatch the show. I feel like when we talk about those things and stuff like that, we're trying to almost relive it. So it's similar. Like, I'm gonna reread a book a few times.
Yeah.
Like, when I finish it, if it was good, it goes back on my bookshelf, not in the trash. That is because I'm still reading it.
Yes. And there are definitely folks who discard a book after one read. Like, I finished it, I got what I wanted out of it. Someone else can have this now.
If I didn't like it, I pass it on. But if I did like it, it stays on the shelf because I plan on reading it again.
Absolutely.
I don't know when and I don't know where, but I plan on it.
Absolutely. Or sometimes I'll hang on to a book because, like, maybe I got what I needed from it, but someone else may need that book and they may need what I got from it too. And I'm waiting for that person to come along and be like, I have the book for you.
I am the same way. It's like, this book isn't done giving yet.
Yeah. Like,
it's going to give to me more later.
Yeah. Sometimes you get the sense that, like, I am not this book's final home.
Yes.
I'm holding this book for someone else.
So if you think you're weird for reading to it.
Yeah, just don't. Because I promise librarians are weirder about reading. It gets weird. Well, it goes back to that feeling of Sonder, where sometimes you just sometimes you miss the Shire. Yeah. Sometimes you miss a place you've read about, and you got to go back. You got to go back. So we hope that you will come back and join us next time. Of course, if you are listening to this, then it is going to be posted on May the 7th. We will have another episode out for you on May the 21st that will be discussing programming coming up in June. So we'll be telling you about everything that we're going to be doing for summer reading, for Pride Month, all that stuff. So come back and listen to us then. I'm Morgan.
And I'm Atlanta.
And this has been The Reading Room, the podcast brought to you by your Rowan County Public Library.